Welcome back to the Home of Horror podcast.
Come with me.
And welcome back to the Home of Horror podcast. I'm your host, John. This is my co-host, Matt. Matt, say hi.
What is cracking?
We got a doozy for
Always
you
a
folks.
motherfucking doozy.
Always a doozy.
High energy today. High energy
Yeah,
today.
we are here with episode 33.
Yeah.
Episode 33, Home of Horror podcast, episode 33.
Yeah.
Still celebrating our 2-year anniversary.
Mm-hmm.
Really appreciate you guys being with us.
Honeymoon period's over.
Be sure if you're watching on YouTube that you like and subscribe to the channel. If you're listening on audio podcasts or audio platforms as in Buzzsprout, Spotify, Apple, Google, any of those, we thank you very much for sticking with us. Today we are diving in, last episode we dove into Scream 2022. This episode we are diving into our top 10 horror movies revisited. So if you don't know, if you haven't been listening to the podcast since the beginning, the very first episode, we touched on our top 10 movies then. So now we're going to revisit that and see if any of those has changed. So thank you for fucking tuning in. Appreciate it.
Thank you for being there.
Let's get right into it.
Thank you for loving me.
Now we're going to start with you. So if I'm not mistaken, so our last episode that we did, top 10, which was our first episode, was recorded, it was released on December 11th of 2019. Mm-hmm. But it wasn't until December 11th that it was released. Not much of a difference, obviously. But just to make things, perfect. So December 11th, you had said that your number 10 movie of all time was Halloween 1978. Is that correct?
Let me just go back in my notes here.
Whoa, we're going with notes. I love it.
Way back here.
That's what I got. I'm trying to think. Dude, you're not even going to kill me.
I had Poltergeist.
Dude, you're not even joking? This one.
Dude, go back to the old school. We're going way back.
I know, but just
what did
like
you do?
last episode. Dude, look.
What did you do to that fucking thing?
Dude, what happened?
Dude, I have no idea. My holes is like throwing a hot dog down a fucking hallway.
Dude, you had to switch your shit last episode.
Yeah,
what is the deal?
Ridiculous.
What happened?
I think you keep falling into them. You've been drinking for a while, Bob.
No, that's not the question. The weird thing is we've been off for about a month now, folks. Since the holiday season, we've been on vacation. Mm-hmm. We haven't had any problems with the mic since then.
No.
So last episode, 32.
Things falling over everywhere.
Your microphone was just falling out of its fucking thing the whole time. Now 33, which same day, by the way. We're recording this in the same day.
After doing tons of other shit today.
Yeah. We had a couple meetings for the new movie and stuff today. And, yeah. We went through hell today.
Let's record 2 podcasts.
Yeah, we went through hell today. It's about, what time is it?
It's late.
Is it? 11:21. Yeah, it's late.
It's getting late.
So we've been at it since like 4:30 though.
Yeah, after working 8 hours.
Right.
That's beside the point. My number 10 back in 2019 was Poltergeist.
No, it wasn't. It was
Halloween. Yeah, it was. I got it right here. This is my top 10 list.
Are you sure?
100%.
How come I have it as Halloween?
I don't know, because Halloween is on my list.
Yeah, on what?
5.
No fucking way.
Dude, it's right here.
Dude, what are you talking about?
This is the first page in my book.
Dude, you're there's no way this is true.
Yeah. Yeah, you got the other ones right. You're right with the other ones.
What do you mean, Poltergeist? I don't even think Poltergeist was on your list.
It is.
Wow.
It ain't anymore, though. My new number 10
yes.
is Scream, the OG.
Oh, wow.
96.
Great.
Had to put it in there.
So it was different.
I've recently watched it.
So it was different.
It's different, yep.
Yeah, great movie, man. And this type of list I'm taking a little bit differently as the road that we did last time, because it was like I really tried with my last top 10 to like put in movies that it was kind of a split. It was like throw in some movies that I loved, but then like
I feel like this is all nostalgia for me. These are all things that and this is an ever-changing list.
Okay.
I mean,
so my list is more of, there's some hitters that I love throughout my life in there, but there's also like movies that I can't like disprove. You know what I mean? It's hard to not put in there. So
I'll drink to that.
Absolutely.
Cheers out there.
Long night. All right, so are you sure you had Poltergeist?
Dude, I just looked at my list.
All right, cool. So I used to have Texas Chainsaw Massacre as number 10. You got that as well? So mine has changed. I now have Child's Play as my number 10, yeah.
OG, baby.
Yeah, like I said, some things have changed for me. I'm trying to base this list as a little bit differently. I'm trying to go. Well, no, it's some movies have just hit me better over the last couple year, but like I'm also trying to factor in the impact of other movies to this list. So, Child's Play is my number 10. Used to be Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Will it still be on the list? I don't know.
Of course it will be.
We'll see.
Yeah.
All right, keep going.
Okay, number 9.
Number 9. What did you have on your 2019 top 10?
The Mist.
Yep, I got that as well. Well, no, for yours anyway, not mine.
And in this year, 2022, I have The Mist.
Same.
Stayed the same. I love The Mist. I love the ending.
Mist. That's not on most people's top 10.
No, of course.
Right.
It's really not. And I struggled here because I wanted to put Silver Bullet here. I really did. I thought about putting Silver Bullet here.
But if I'm not mistaken, you have Silver Bullet.
Silver Bullet's
a lot higher.
It's off now.
Oh wow!
I went too much Stephen King on my first list.
You did. And you loved Stephen King on that list. It's tough to do because the adaptations are.
I know.
It's tough to put your top 10 and then your honorable mentions and then your what you put in between that. So you went with The Mist.
Frank Darabont.
All right. Top 10, number 9.
The ending alone, you have to put that in.
Yeah, it's great.
You have to.
And
come on.
Like we touched on that first episode, it's different than the novel.
Absolutely.
So that makes it a little like
go listen that
to shock factor.
Episode 1. You know?
That shock factor you like though. That shock factor.
Shock factor, baby.
That shock factor is like, hey,
that
plays a big role.
Right from day one.
All right, so number 9 for me in 2019 was Halloween. 78. Now for me, it's Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So it went from 10 to 9.
Jumped up a little.
Right. So, yeah. So Halloween was Halloween was number 9 for me on 2019. Texas Chainsaw. Did I say Texas Chainsaw?
Yeah.
I didn't say Halloween right. It used to be Halloween. That's
Halloween.
what I said.
It's Texas Chainsaw.
Jesus, man, we're doing too much work in one day.
Yeah, it's too much.
Too much work in one day.
High energy.
Yes. So Texas Chainsaw for me, number 9. It used to be Halloween. Will it stay on the list?
Of course it will.
Let's
Of
keep
course
it going.
I will. Number 8. What did I have in 2019?
It looks like you had Alien.
And I still have Alien.
Interesting.
I love Alien. I love Aliens.
Yes. You had mentioned that on the
yes,
first episode.
I love it. I love the whole thing. I mean, Aliens is a great movie. Alien sets it up, and I felt like I had to put it on.
Right. I agree
just,
with that.
And like I would say, our audio quality is probably terrible on the first episode. I haven't listened to it in forever.
It's actually not that bad. I listened to it today, and it was not as bad as I thought it was going to be. It's probably better than our video quality is now.
What the fuck is that supposed to mean?
It means bad things.
Yeah, like and subscribe on YouTube.
Yes, like and subscribe. So what'd you say as
8
Aliens? Aliens, yes. Aliens? Alien. Yeah.
But
yeah.
I really put the whole thing in there.
Right,
you know?
because you mentioned that on the first episode too. You were like, it has a lot to do with franchises, and I think that brings back to my point of impact of movies, which is interesting because Alien to me is like a true horror movie, and then Aliens is more
sci-fi.
Well, it's like action drama, but still a great movie.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, but Alien is like true horror. So that was 8?
8.
All right, so 8 for me in 2019 was Poltergeist. Now, what do you have that now? You had that at 10?
I took it out.
But you had it at 10.
I had it at 10.
Okay.
Well, maybe I did an old switcheroo. Who knows?
I thought you had Halloween, but I might have been wrong. I don't know. I was listening earlier today, and I could have been, it's been a long day. But either way, I had Poltergeist at number 8. That's gone out the window. It's off the list. So I have put The Witch at number 8. I'm finally
coming around.
Yeah, I think I was always around to it. It was just like I wasn't ready in the first couple.
You were shocked when I put it on my list.
I was because I was kind of like,
silence
hey,
all cell phones, please.
Yeah, sorry. I was kind of like, hey, do I want to put it on yet? It's only been a few years out. It's like the Rookie movie. It's like, do you really want to bump it up to the top 10
I
yet?
hear you.
But finally, I've come around and I've put it at the top 10.
You'll be happy to know that on my list in 2019, I had The Witch.
You had 7. The Witch. You did. What
and
do you
I
have
still
now?
have it at 7. It's still right there.
You
it's
do?
still right there.
Oh,
it's still
great.
in my top 10. I love The Witch.
Solid movie.
I still love
it's
watching
a great movie.
it. Yep.
It's a great movie, man. I didn't originally have it on my list, but I had to put it on there finally. It's been enough time now. What was it, 2014, 2013?
Yeah, something like that.
It's been enough time now.
Yeah.
7 years. I'll put it on there because I always said eventually it was going to be on my list anyway. It was in my honorable mentions. Like it was time. So my 7, 2019 was The Thing, which is wild. My 7 this year, Jaws.
Love it.
Jaws,
Love
baby.
Jaws.
A lot of people think this is a drama / adventure. We've had so many go-arounds about this, whether it's a true horror movie. I truly think it is.
It has to be.
I am solidifying my belief that Jaws is number 7 in the all-time top 10 horror movies ever. Jaws is there, number 7.
100%.
By the way, it used to be The Thing that has moved. Will it come up in later? Will it come up in my top 10 again?
I think it will.
Or will it be moved up?
I think it will.
You think it will? Okay, we'll see. All right, so what are we going with? 6?
6.
All right, hit me up.
I had The Shining back then.
You had The Shining, yes.
It's still there. I mean, The Shining is still there.
At 6?
It is.
It is?
It's
Oh, it hasn't moved?
It hasn't moved. I
Hey, that's
I look
fine,
at my top 10 and I'm like, this is a solid top 10.
Right. You
And
really liked your top 10.
And I have a couple changes. I have a couple more changes coming.
Yeah.
I took a classic right off my list.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to do it because I still
Wait, what have you taken off so far?
I've taken off Poltergeist.
Okay. That's a big one to take off.
Yeah.
I also took that off my top 10.
Yeah. Both of us.
Yeah, that was my 8. Took right off, which is interesting. We'll have to get to those. It's because I think these lists, this list gets into the more you do a podcast and the more you get to thinking about things like that. It's hard to do a top 10 nonetheless.
Right.
I feel like if I did this every week, it would be possibly different every week.
Right.
Who knows?
Well, when you're talking all time, like...
Right. Well, even when you're doing a podcast and you have to, like, solidify it, it's a little bit different. It's like, okay, well, I have to come up with these concrete decisions, and it can't be just solely based on what I love for horror, because a lot of movies I love aren't in the top 10. So it has to be based on your love. It has to be based on impact in the culture.
I would say what I most look forward to outside of my top 10, because my top 10 isn't that much different.
Right.
It's my honorable mentions.
Right.
I would say that I have a lot of honorable mentions that
and that's the difference.
Should be there or could be there. They just haven't cracked it yet.
Right.
You
and
know
that's the difference. It's impact in horror. What you love in horror, it's love, impact, and then just all out honesty. Right? Like those 3 things are very important in the top 10. Because I would I love Tremors. I would love to put Tremors in my top 10, but obviously I understand that it's not a top 10 horror movie. So I have to back off that. But in some sense, like, I think if there is a movie that has been impacted by you, or impacted a culture, but also impacted you, you're allowed to throw that in, right? So what are we on right now? You had just thrown out what?
The Shining.
The Shining. At 6.
At 6.
Right. So my 2019 6 was the Blair Witch Project. That has switched. Halloween, 1978.
Had to be there.
Number 6.
Had to be there.
I had to throw it in. I actually bumped Blair Witch Project out of my top 10. Doesn't mean it'll be out of my honorable mentions.
Agreed.
Agreed. I have to go off impact and what is, actively being watched in my rotation of movies.
100%.
You know what I mean?
I get you.
That has a lot to do with it as well. What's being watched the most? There's some movies that I kicked out that I think could be top 10. They're arguable, but it's like I don't watch them enough to put them in my top 10. You know what I mean? Very interesting. Okay, 5.
The Thing. The Thing for me.
So what did you have before?
Before I had Silver Bullet.
Yep, you did.
So yeah.
Wow, that's a tough one to put out.
I love Silver Bullet. You know me. I love that movie. I love Silver Bullet.
Yeah.
But The Thing is just so damn good.
Like I said, impact.
It is so damn good.
The impact it had on special effects, story. It was really one of the original who did it.
Yeah.
Besides a slasher, it was who did this?
And to take Silver Bullet off my list completely, it sucks. It sucks.
Right. So it is off completely.
Yeah, it's off completely.
Wow, that's a tough one to move.
And I really wanted to put it somewhere in here too.
Yeah, it seems. It seems that we have both grown for just a few.
We've gone away from Stephen King so much. I feel like
what we grew up on,
right?
And moved into it, tried to be more impactful and stuff like that. Yeah. So we're on 5. You said.
Yep.
5. Number 5 is Scream.
Love it.
Scream itself.
Yeah. Great movie.
It's actually yeah. I think it was on my top 5. I think Scream was on my top 5 to begin with, and it's still on my top 5. So that didn't change at all. It shouldn't. Very impactful. Huge on the 90s culture of horror and slasher movies. Ghostface was iconic. So it stayed the same. Let's keep going here.
Number 4.
Number 4, Matt. You used to be Pet Sematary here.
Halloween.
Wow.
Halloween.
Really?
Yep. And it's.
So you used to have Halloween as. Was it on your list at all?
Yeah, I think it was.
It was, okay. So Halloween is at 4 now.
Halloween it's up there now. Yeah, Michael Myers is just.
So it used to be Pet Cemetery.
Yep, I know. Pet Cemetery is now gone.
No.
No, it's not.
I was gonna say,
I
dude.
love Pet Cemetery.
Wow. That would have been wild.
I've actually bumped Pet Cemetery up.
That would have been a wild turn of events. All right, so. All right, cool. So, number 4 for me, 2019, was Rosemary's Baby.
Mm-hmm.
That has now switched to none other than Candyman. It's taken the position. OG. Of course.
Mm-hmm.
Not because Rosemary's doesn't deserve to be there.
No.
But in this situation, I took on impact and throughout my life. You know, Rosemary's Baby, I've only seen 3 or 4 times.
I love it though. It's a great movie.
It is a great movie, but it was one of those ones where it was like, Candyman wasn't on there before, and it's like Candyman I've watched 20 times. You know what I mean? It's just been in and out of my rotation of horror movies for a long time. So it was a tough decision. I think Rosemary's Baby deserves to be in there. I think in a lot of people's top 10, it will be in there. But for me, at number 4, Candyman comes into play. It's just how it is.
I hear you.
All right, number 3.
Pet Cemetery.
Ooh, what'd you have before?
Before it was the Omen.
Yep, it was. Wow, so Pet Cemetery moved up. Pet Cemetery used to be 4, moved up a rank.
Yep.
I like that.
Yep.
That's good shit, man. Anything about the Omen that?
I mean, I still like the Omen a lot.
Right.
Maybe it will still be in my list. I don't know.
You never know. Could be. All right, but Pet Cemetery has just done
Pet Cemetery, it's
nostalgic.
I want to say that's the movie that made me love horror.
Right. So it's like one of those things. It's impactful.
It's impactful.
It's impactful. You got to put it in there.
It's impactful for me, especially. Like,
I respect that.
I remember that since I was a kid.
Right.
I love that movie.
I respect that. That's what this list is all about. I think when we first did our first episode, we were kind of like, you know, real quick, what's our top 10? Like, what would people... You know, it's like if you do your top 10 of sports icons, depending on what sport it is, it's like you kind of rate it on what everybody else feels too. Their stats and their, you know, stuff like that. But with movies, it's like the impact it had on you as a kid seems to come into play for some reason. And then overall effect. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I think that's mostly why these, you know, this top 10 has changed a little bit, you know?
Yeah.
So you were on 3?
3.
You did Pet Cemetery. My old one was Pet Cemetery at number 3. Has it changed? It hasn't changed.
It hasn't changed.
Number 3, Pet Cemetery, baby. That's my boy.
I love it.
I didn't have any other Stephen King films on here.
I really wanted to go. There's so many Stephen King movies that
that's the
Needful
issue.
Things. Needful Things is probably one of my favorites of all time.
It's really the issue being from Maine, where you have to decipher. You have to pick your poison a little bit.
Yep.
Pet Cemetery's mine. You had a lot more on your list.
Yeah, I wanted Needful Things. I wanted It. I wanted fucking Silver Bullet. I wanted all that. A lot of them. You know.
But it's just based on where you live and your, you know, stuff like that. So it's like you got to make a compromise at some point, you know. So that was number 3. Let's go number 2.
The Omen. And
Really?
I say The Omen because you know I love The Omen.
Yeah.
I love The Omen. And it's not just The Omen, it's the whole franchise.
Right.
It's that whole progression from
a
baby to almost being the president of the United States.
Honestly,
that whole series.
It's that impact of the entire series.
It's like, holy
And you said
shit.
You said that not necessarily with The Omen, but you had said that a lot in your old top 10 where like the impact for you was like franchises, right?
Yep.
So
Another
the
franchise
Omen.
pick. Yeah.
The Omen
The
number
Omen.
2.
I love it.
That's big.
And I
Because
bumped
before it was Rosemary's
Baby, and
Yeah.
like Rosemary's Baby is now out of my top 10. And
Wow.
it's not because I don't like Rosemary's Baby.
Right.
I love Rosemary's Baby. I think it's a great movie. I think it's a great film.
Yeah.
I think everybody should watch it. Anybody who is a horror fan, especially,
Right.
should watch it. But I watch it maybe once every 2 or 3 years.
Exactly. That was my other thing.
You know, it's
some
like,
of those was like that.
If
It
I
was
see
like,
that it's on, I'm like, cool, but like, am I gonna sit down and
right.
watch
When
it?
I bumped Blair Witch, that was my same problem. It was like I really do think that it could arguably be top 10, but how often do I watch the Blair Witch?
Right.
You know,
Right.
Even and that's not to say when I do that it isn't unbelievable every time I watch it, because it is.
Right.
But I think impact has a lot to do with your top 10 as a horror fan.
100%.
And getting to me, that brings in my number 2, which used to be Hellraiser. It is now The Thing.
Love it.
Yeah, I just have to put it in there as far as special effects go. Just a true horror movie, man.
Yep.
Like, just gruesome. Melting fucking faces.
Yep. The
Fucking
dogs, dude.
yeah, just great. The best practical effects. Good acting.
Yep.
Just balls to the wall horror, in my opinion. And this is a movie that early in my life I thought was just straight sci-fi, until you really, really, really come to appreciate it, and you realize that it is true horror.
Right.
The face melting, the fucking spider head, the fucking
Yep.
Defibrillator going in and then just missing, and truly
Right.
brilliant. Just the overall outcome of the movie, where you're a little bit like, hey, what the fuck is going on here? I don't even know what's going on.
Right.
Did it end? Did it not end? Who's the thing? Who isn't? You know what I mean?
Right.
And with John Carpenter, it's just how it is. Perfect. It deserves number 2 in my spot next to Hellraiser, which I bumped out completely. I love Hellraiser. It's in honorable mentions. I'll say that.
Yeah.
One of my movies that I watch a lot, but just as far as impact go, like I said, The Thing is just, when we did our episode on The Thing, it was like, holy fuck, this movie is impacts so many other movies.
Right.
It brought forth so many other movies that I love.
Right.
As far as practical effects, with like The Faculty.
Just watched that recently.
Dude,
So good.
good. Like movies like that where like never would have existed if it wasn't for The Thing. So like I had to put that at number 2.
Absolutely.
All right, number 1.
Number 1. Should we say it together?
Hasn't changed, I'm guessing.
No.
Of course. 1, 2, 3.
The Exorcist. I mean,
course.
that's.
I don't think it's a surprise to the viewers.
No.
Either.
That's how we bonded over the first.
Yeah, it will just never. I don't think it'll ever.
It'll
be
always
beaten
be The
for
Exorcist.
me. I don't know if anything will ever. A few moved for me. I
Yeah.
think The Thing taking number 2 for me was a big deal.
Yep.
It was just one of those things where, like I said, the impact with other movies. And then when I listened to the old episode, and when I said Hellraiser in the episode, I was like, it just wasn't. It wasn't true.
It didn't
grab
grab you. It didn't grab you.
I just listened to it and I was like, man, since I've done that episode, like I think I've watched Hellraiser once.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like the impact wasn't enough for me. The way I look at horror now, 2 years later.
Yep.
It just wasn't enough to me. Not that it's not a great movie, because it is.
Yep.
Let's do some honorable mentions before we hang it up right here.
I'm gonna throw down As Above, So Below.
Oh, great movie.
It, obviously. Both.
The original It?
Both.
Both, okay.
I'm gonna say both.
Yeah, great.
The Devil's Advocate. I know it's not technically a horror, but I love that movie.
Right.
And it's dark. It's very dark. The Possession,
Yeah.
Silver Bullet, The Ring, The Lodge, Creep, The Conjuring
Lodge.
series.
Ooh, the Conjuring series is great.
Hereditary, the Insidious series,
Yep.
and last but not least, I don't know if it's something you've seen, Bone Tomahawk.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
I actually really I
Has horror aspects to it. You
very
know what I
very
mean? Yeah,
horror,
yeah, yeah.
like it not what you expect
Right,
going into
right,
the movie,
right.
but good movie.
So I have just a very few honorable mentions, mostly ones that I left out of my top 10 that were in before. The Blair Witch Project,
Yeah.
Hellraiser, The Omen, Rosemary's Baby, and a one that has sneaked past a little bit, I think. The Silence of the Lambs.
Oh my God, yeah.
Fucking great movie,
Great
man.
movie.
I don't put it in top 10, even though I think it could be there. It's more of a psychological thriller
Agreed.
that you could put it in that category and it would top almost anything. You know what I
100%.
mean?
Hannibal Lecter. Yeah.
So, but overall horror, it's in the honorable mentions.
Yeah.
Alien for me,
Yeah.
great fucking movie. Hard to not put in the top 10. Hellraiser, same thing. Obviously used to be in my top 10.
Yep.
Just bumped out, so I had to throw that in there. The Ring. Just one of those PG-13 movies that like snuck through.
Yeah.
You know, that was just unfucking believable. And The Mist.
Love it.
The Mist, which used to be on your top 10.
Still is.
Still is, right. Great fucking movie, great ending to that. Different from the book,
And it's
but
and it's
still,
about and it's all about the ending for me.
yeah, the shock factor, exactly.
It's that shock factor, baby.
Fucking brilliant. Yeah, so honorable mentions, top 10, all done. Quick episode. 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Get it done. We didn't drag it out like
we're not
we
going to
did
go
before.
into. If you want to hear a deep synopsis, go listen to episode 1.
Right. And you'll see the changes
And
there.
you'll see the changes in us.
Well,
but
even if you just listen to all our discography here, if you listen to from episode 1 to episode 33, which we're on now, I think you'll see the changes as far as like The Thing goes and The Witch, you know, and
yeah, The Thing was not on my list.
Right.
The Witch wasn't on your list.
I don't think The Thing was on my. Was it on my first list?
It was on your first list.
But 7.
Right.
Now it's 2.
Right.
You know, so just the appreciation for, you know, the nostalgic things we get in horror.
100%.
And just the impact.
Yeah.
Right? The impact of certain movies and what they have on you as you get older, I think is big. Even if it's in your generation, it doesn't mean that The Thing is any better to me than it is to a teenager that loves The Grudge. You know what I mean? Or whatever. The Sixth Sense, you know what I mean?
I'd love to see people's top 10s more. You know, it's hard.
Yeah,
it's hard to put together a top 10. You know,
yeah.
honestly,
Well, I think it's
is.
mostly like I think if you could see the top, I think what's cool about it is the comparative aspect. Like, let me see your top 10 from this year, and then 2 years later, give me your top 10 again, and just see how you've grown and like how your interests have changed as a person. You know.
You know what we should do next year? We should do our top 10.
But like 11 to.
That doesn't include anything in the list.
Oh,
that
wow.
We just did.
Wow. So just.
We can't use anything that we just used.
Right. So it's pretty much your 11 to.
Yeah.
20.
We put a catalog together.
Right.
Of our top movies.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. Because I didn't even mention it. I think it's in there as well. Both of them for me.
Has to be.
Yeah, there's a lot of Stephen King. It would be cool to do a top 5 Stephen King. Make it hard, you know what I mean?
That would be good.
Do like a top 5, like really hard, like.
Let's deep dive into Stephen King.
Even like top 3 would be
We haven't done a ton
of
Stephen King.
No, we haven't.
Surprisingly.
I don't even think we've done Pet Sematary yet, have we?
We have not done Pet Sematary.
I think the only thing we've done is.
So we did Silver Bullet.
Silver Bullet. I think it's the only one.
Is that really it?
Yeah, I think so. Well,
Stephen King.
no. We did The Shining, Dr. Sleep.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
And that was a big one for us.
Right.
And that's a great episode if you want to go back and listen to that one.
Go back and listen to those.
There's some nuggets in there.
Yeah.
There are some nuggets.
So I think those are the only 2 Stephen King we've actually done. So
Maybe
we might
it's
have
time.
to start touching on those.
I was just going to say, I would also like to touch on the Omen.
Yeah.
Let's get into the Omen franchise. And
Right. Yeah, we're going to get into some shit this year. I mean, it's
we're
time.
not holding back anymore.
We're not holding back
it's
anymore.
Time
it's
for
time.
Big shows.
And we got some guests this year that are going to be fucking awesome. Some old friends that are coming back, and then some new friends that are coming on that you guys are going to be very happy that have, just to hear us talk with them. So
Right.
very excited for that. So don't forget, like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you're listening on our audio platforms, thank you very much for continuing to do that. Apple, Google, Spotify, Buzzsprout, all those. Thank you very much. Everybody on YouTube watching, thank you very much. Yeah, we'll be with you, as soon as we can. So we're getting back at it, and yeah, we appreciate it, guys. Thank you for sticking with us for 2 years.
Yeah, it's been a long 2 years.
It has. And yeah, Matt, take us out like always.
May the power of Christ compel you. Later.
Home of horror, the Home of Horror podcast. Home of horror, the Home of Horror podcast. Horror podcast. So that's your third Stephen King?
Don't start with me, dude.
I bet they spent less than $50,000 on that movie.
$252,000.
Oh wow, really? Home of